it off until maybe then I'll put it back on.
Gina's bringing on
Who?
the agenda.
The agenda's.
Let you know, the heater.
Oh.
Bunch of space heaters for us over here.
It's just cold.
Yep.
I just got my truck.
Roll call after they make the motion and second.
I think that's the way to do it.
That's the theory, right?
When's our hot cocoa coming? Oh, good. So, just saying you didn't get yours.
Welcome to the council meeting. It's December 2nd, 6:15 PM. Our council person, Kurt, is not going to be here this evening for medical reasons, and I believe we're going to call him in electronically.
That's correct.
Okay, do we have him on the line?
Yes, Ted, you're there?
I'm here, yes.
Okay, thank you. We'll call the roll.
Noonan,
Yes.
Hoffenberger,
Yes.
Barrow,
Yes.
Viscus,
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes, by form.
Meinbeck.
Yes.
Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'll turn it over to President Barrow for Committee of the Whole.
Thank you, Mayor McDonald. Having looked at the agenda, is there any questions or concerns? Councilman Lineback?
Not a concern, but I thought it would be helpful for people who are here tonight and who are listening to understand why we're going to be waiving one of the readings and voting on this really important sewer ordinance tonight. If Dr. Birch could, explain why that is, what's happening and that's made voting on this sooner rather than later so important.
Thank you, Councilman Lineback. The issue here at hand is we have had a pretty good response already. We have 122 people who have signed up for inspections, which is better than we expected, and that continues to grow. And we're trying really hard to make sure that I'm not telling people an untruth. Since you guys haven't passed this either by emergency or waived any readings, even if you had a third reading, which would be in the late December, it would be February until I could tell people that we were actually repairing private laterals on private property. This ordinance is aimed at declaring those private laterals a nuisance so that we can spend public dollars out of your current rates to do those repairs. Right now, we're actually having people getting inspected. In fact, we've done 80-some inspections already on the what if that people are going to have that repaired for them at no extra charge other than their rate. So I'm asking you, please pass this, waive the third reading so staff and I can get at making sure that we're telling people the truth and that we're actually going to do this work for them without any extra cost.
Thank you, Dr. Birch.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or concerns? And I'd just like to weigh in on that as well. I've had, I bet you, oh my gosh, probably 36 different residents say how wonderful it is, and they can't wait to get started, and a lot of those people, I'm sure, are on the list already. But thank you. If nothing else, that concludes Committee of the Whole. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll move to citizen comments. I have one for this evening. Art Smith, if you would come forward, please. Just state your name and your address, that'd be great, and just speak loud into the microphone. Welcome.
My name is Arthur Smith. I live at 421 West Broadway Street in Maumee. Thanks to Margot's post, I did find the ordinance. I read it. I assume you have all read it. And I find the penalty to be overly severe and a little draconian. The penalty is strict liability. It does not depend upon knowledge. Each day is a separate offense. So that if I repair my sewer, and I don't know whether I need it or not, but since my house is in 1860s, I can safely guess. So if I repair it 360 days after the ordinance has gone into effect, literally, I've been out of compliance for 365 days, times $100,000 a day. I literally owe $365,000. I don't think that's appropriate. I don't know how many houses in Maumee are valued that much. Fortunately, mine is. But I would take a second look at how it is drafted, because I think it's a matter of drafting. And that's my concern. But I assume all councilmen understand this and have read the ordinance. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we need to go.
Is there something that we can help clarify, Mr. Smith? I'll yield to the law director on that.
Sure. We added provisions in here, one, that any criminal and civil liability provisions would apply to residential clean water connections or residential defective or substandard sewer laterals where you enter into an agreement for repair, the same with the city. And these charges, in any event, somebody would have to file a charge for there to be a penalty. And if a charge was filed, it would be up to the judge to determine what, if any, sanction would be applied. And so the court would have the discretion to enter a penalty if a charge was filed from anywhere from $0 up to $1,000. I don't believe if there was charges filed for each day. It's unlikely that would happen, and my understanding that it has not happened to date to anyone in the city of Maumee or any surrounding jurisdictions. All of these statutes have penalty provisions to allow for enforcement for people that are clearly not going to comply with the statute, that are aware of the problems that they have. And it includes residential, business, and other properties. So we have to have some penalty in effect, or these ordinances become unenforceable.
We'll be happy to get with you after the meeting, Mr. Smith, instead of having a discussion right now, but we would certainly stand with you after the meeting and clarify any of your concerns. I have no other citizen comments at this time. We'll move for the adoption of the agenda. I need a motion for that, please.
I move that we adopt the agenda as
Thank you, Mayor. I'll second that.
Call the roll on the agenda, please.
Noonan,
Yes.
Puffenberger,
Yes.
Barrow,
Yes.
Fiskus.
Yes.
Barrows,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Lineback.
Yes.
Approval of the meeting minutes on November 18. Need a motion for that, please.
Thank you, Mayor McDonald. I will move to approve the regular meeting minutes of November 18th, 2024.
A second on that, please.
Thank you, Mayor McDonald. I would second that motion.
We'll call the roll on the meeting minutes for November 18.
Noonan,
Yes.
Puffenberger,
Yes.
Barrow,
Yes.
Fiskus,
Yes.
Yes, sorry.
Harris,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Lineback.
Yes.
Excuse me, we have no petitions and communications. We'll move to a consent calendar. I'll take a motion in a second, and then we'll discuss these items.
I'd move to adopt the consent calendar.
Thank you, Mayor McDonald. Second that motion.
Just, I'd like, before we talk about this, just make a statement that City Council has examined each of the consent calendar, proposed legislation, and other items set forth on this agenda that involves the expenditure of public funds, use of public property, or use of the City of Maumee resources, and have determined and find that any action or expenditure set forth in those items would be for and serve a public purpose as defined by Ohio law. That the expenditure and/or use of public property would be for the general good of the residents and taxpayers of the city of Maumee and the general public, and promotes the public health and general welfare of the citizens of the city of Maumee and the general public. First item is a recommendation from the city administrator authorizing a grant, authorize and grant a permit for soliciting the annual charity paper sale for the Toledo Old Fellows, Newsboy Goodfellows Association on Friday, December 6th from 8 to 6 during the day. The sale will occur at the corner of Anthony Wayne Trail and Conant Street. And I know Mr. Noonan is very active with the Old Newsboys. Did you have a comment on that?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor McDonald. For everybody that doesn't know, every year, it's a one-day paper sale that the Old Newsboys does. The charity in itself is, all the proceeds go to providing shoes and coats to any district within Northwest Ohio that has kids or the schools request the shoes and coats. We go through a third-party provider to provide those shoes and coats to the kids themselves. So it's 100% donation charity to helping out kids. I've been involved since 2012. The reason why it's kind of on the agenda is last couple of years, we just hadn't had the opportunity to have anybody be on any of our streets in Maumee, and so I asked about it, and they said, the administration said to ask for it going forward, so that's why it's on here, so we can have a couple of people be able to be on the trail and cone it for this one day only. So, yeah, that's it, so thank you.
Thank you. That's Friday, December 6th, this Friday from 8 a.m. to 6, and that'll be the corner of Trail and Conant Street. Second item is a recommendation from the law director authorizing the city administrator and service department to establish programs for the purpose of conducting inspections to determine if there are connections to the Maumee sanitary sewer system and inspecting sanitary sewer laterals and not assess a fee for the said inspections, as these inspections that involve expenditure of public funds or use of city property or city employees or use of city resources in resolving nuisance conditions would be for and serve a public purpose as defined by Ohio law, that the expenditure of the funds and/or use of the public property or provision of city employees would be for the general good of the residents and taxpayers of the city of Maumee and the general public, and promotes the public health and general welfare of the citizens of the city of Maumee and general public. This is basically stipulating that any inspections that are going to be done is not going to be charged. That's basically that it's going to be paid for out of public funds, correct? Anything further on that?
Nothing.
Okay. That is it for consent calendar. Any other discussion from council? We'll call the roll, please.
Noonan.
Yes.
Pfaffenberger.
Yes.
Barrow.
Yes.
Fiskus.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Kurt.
Yes.
Lineback.
Yes.
Last item on the agenda, it is a very short agenda this evening, is a new business, a recommendation from the Finance and Economic Development Committee. This is a second reading to approve ordinance 37, 2024, an ordinance amending 927 sewer regulations of the Maumee codified ordinances and ordinances related hereto. We're going to need, first of all, any discussion on that? Any further discussion on that item from council?
I guess I have a question
Yes.
based on Art's comments. So, I mean, who would be the person that would make a charge? Would that be the city? Could it just be anyone that decides to?
It would be the city.
So,
The penalty side, yeah.
so it would be a matter of someone refusing to make the connections, not necessarily knowing it's, not necessarily just the ordinance passes, they have the illicit connection and just not doing anything with it without knowing, not having had the inspection yet, right? Is that?
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
And, Jim, excuse me.
Yes, go ahead, Mr.
Thank you,
Barrow.
Mayor McDonald. Also, it doesn't, and correct me if I'm wrong, Alan, but when this is passed, the clock doesn't start on it. You have to have inspections, you have notified, and under special circumstances, there can be more time allotted. Is that correct?
It basically is, the penalties would apply to people that refuse, in effect, to make necessary repairs after inspection's been made.
Okay, thank you.
It all really falls under the umbrella that in order to fix the problem that we have, we need 100% compliance within the city. And everybody really needs to understand that they need to get an inspection and see what their property is showing and fix the issues.
Correct.
I mean, that's the ultimate goal, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, we need two motions on this, one to waive the third reading and a second to approve. Mr. Harris.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor McDonald. First, I'm going to move to waive the third reading.
And I would second that.
Thank you. Call the roll on that.
Noonan.
Yes.
Pfaffenberger.
Yes.
Barrow.
Yes.
Fiskus.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Kurt.
Yes.
Lineback.
Yes.
Then I will also move to approve ordinance 037-2024, an ordinance amending Chapter 927 sewer regulations of the Maumee codified ordinances and ordinance related thereto.
And I would second that motion.
Call the roll, please.
Noonan.
Yes.
Pufferger.
Yes.
Pharaoh.
Yes.
Fiskus.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Kurt.
yes,
Lineback.
Yes.
Thank you. We have no old business. We'll move to mayor, council, and administrator comments. I will go ahead and start. It was interesting this week to learn that White House is now having to increase their water and sewer rates, water rates by 10% and sewer rates by 15%. Anybody that buys water from Toledo and has to pay to treat their water, similar to what we do, are going to see this trickle down, I believe, in the future, that everybody's going to have to deal with this on a community basis in order to keep their enterprise funds fluid to help pay for those utilities. We'll see how that flushes out in the future, but it was interesting to see that other communities are kind of start seeing the same thing. I would like to thank the MUBA for the Holiday Lights Parade. Yesterday, it was very successful, I thought, cold, but yet I thought the crowds were pretty festive. And also the Senior Center for sponsoring the race before that parade yesterday. Just a few events that are coming up that I'd like council to know and also the public. Tuesday, December 10th, the Shop with a Hero event. It'll be at the Maumee Fire Division and then move to Myers. And anybody that's willing to wants to help with that or volunteer with that, that's a great event with our police and fire division. And there's always things to do as far as wrapping gifts for the kiddos and getting them a good experience that night. Pizza will start to be served at 5 p.m. at the Maumee Fire Division. That's Tuesday, December 10th. On December 12th, we have a ribbon cutting at the musical Merry Christmas at the Maumee Indoor Theater. That'll be at 4 p.m. That will start the next evening, I believe. Actually, I have tickets to go to that evening. I'm looking forward to that. And then on Friday, December 13th, there's a holiday tea for the Maumee Senior Center, our senior citizens. That's from 1 to 2:30 in the afternoon. That is at the PAC at the Maumee High School, the Performing Arts Center. And they will also have performances by the Maumee High School Select Choir, the String Orchestra, and Symphonic Band, and that does require a reservation for our seniors, and that is free of charge on Friday, December 13th. On Saturday, December 14th, Wreaths Across America event that I will be attending that morning. Starts at the Rotary Pavilion down at Sidecut Park. This is a great event in putting Christmas wreaths on all the veterans' stones and stuff in our cemeteries. And that will start at 11 o'clock on Saturday, December 14th at the Rotary Pavilion, Sidecut Park. And lastly, on Saturday, December 14th, the same day, that morning, Breakfast with Santa is at the Maumee Fire Division, and that starts at 9 a.m. That's always a great event every year and very well attended by our community.
That's at 8 o'clock?
That's at 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
Breakfast starts at 9.
Thank you.
Yes. Also, it's a pretty cool public announcement, too. This has been kind of in the works for a while. A Nature Works grant has been approved for Maumee. The city of Maumee has secured a Nature Works grant to fund a new play structure and surface area at Ford Field. The $91,544 grant will support the installation of the structure, which is expected to be installed this next year, after gathering community feedback on the selection of what the equipment and materials should look like in that park. The Ohio Department of Natural Resources Nature Works Grant Program offers up to 75% reimbursement for the acquisition, development, and rehabilitation of recreational spaces. Preliminary estimates place the total cost of the project at about $276,000. The existing play structure was installed in 2003, is now over 20 years old. In addition, it is outdated. It is in an outdated condition. The area also faces flooding issues, which will be addressed with improved drainage before the new structure is built. The Maumee grant is one of more than $4 million in funding awarded through this program, and it is the only grant granted in Lucas County. Maumee was the only recipient of that. Maumee staff submitted the grant application in the spring, and the city learned of the award just late in November. So thank you to our finance director, Jennifer, for your work on this. That was excellent stuff, that we're constantly looking for ways to fund improvements to our city is a really good thing. And that's all I have. And we'll move to Mr. Noonan.
All right, thank you, Mayor McDonald. I'll keep it short because I don't know if anybody else, but I'm freezing in here. Anyways, thanks, council, and thank you to the administration for allowing Old Newsboys to operate this Friday for the paper sale. Like Mayor McDonald mentioned, December 6th, Friday, from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., at least around here, and then obviously it's throughout Northwest Ohio, so if you see anybody with a jug or what have you, please support it, considering it's for the kids. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, and I would like to correct that time. You were correct, Mr. Noonan, on the Breakfast with Santa at the Maumee Fire Division. It's 8 to noon on December 14th, 8 to noon that morning. Ms. Puffenberger.
I would just like to thank everyone that put on the parade Sunday evening. It was quite nice, and the race, very cold, but it was really nice.
Thank you. Mr. Barrow.
Thank you, Mayor McDonald. I missed the parade. I was outside working. I couldn't wait to get inside, and I told my son, hey, everything's ready for you to come over. And he says, I'm just leaving the parade. I said, oh. That was it. I'm sorry I missed it, but I guess I'll read about it in the paper. Thank you.
Mr. Fiskus.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You got all the good stuff. I had it all written down here, but I also wanted to thank Jennifer for all her hard work on that grant. I know it's been a long time coming, and that's one of the most, I would say, complained about playgrounds we have here. It's old and needs some loving, so it's great to see that we're going to get working on that. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. It's nice to see Ford Field get a little shot in the arm, especially with the new dugouts. And sheets, the new sheets actually donated $2,500 to that too. So working with the community and keeping people in the know is a good thing. Mr. Harris.
I'm going to pass.
Mr. Kurt.
Excuse me. Thank you, Mayor. I too would like to remark on about the parade. I was unable to watch the parade. It was about a block away from me, so I was able to sit on the porch and listen to it. And it sounded good, and most of you have said it looked good, and I believe you, but it sounded great. The band and the other things with the parade were great, and I look forward to that every year. And once again, just mentioning on the sewer ordinance, I'm really pleased that we're getting through this thing in a manner that will satisfy EPA. This thing, we had some ugly baby steps at the beginning trying to fix this, and it looks like the little babies finally learning how to walk. So hopefully this will get us back on the road to compliance with EPA. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Leinbach.
Thank you, Mayor McDonald. I would like to thank Dave Peppelmeyer for providing the live streaming service that he did while we were getting the city's system up and running. But now that the city's is up and running, and Dave doesn't have to do that anymore, but it provided a good public service for people to be able to know what's happening in City Council. But it's great that we have our YouTube channel up, and it's great. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Birch.
I have nothing this evening, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. That looks like that concludes our business for this evening. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn to the next scheduled meeting.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Call the roll.
Noonan.
Yes.
Offenberger.
Yes.
Barrow.
Yes.
Fiskus.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Kurt.
Yes.
Lineback.
Yes.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Okay, thanks. Have a good night. Hope you feel.
Really?
I just had to,
Yeah.
things run through my mind.
You're never going to get back.